With capable large language model support, you can realize any project in your mind instantly. In this case, I'm going to show you how to use Cursor to help me to simulate bank payment workflow. So as you can see here, I can see two windows that I can proceed with the payment workflow. So let's first of all see how this workflow works. So on the left hand side, it is a simulation of a client interface. So basically the client will go to this interface and input the payment information. There are several preset transaction information which I can choose and test immediately. Of course, you can choose the custom transaction option where you can insert each field manually. So let's first try this one, suspicious pattern, which means that we are simulating that the client is inserting all the information to make a payment. Okay, you can think as the client go to the bank and filling a payment instruction form and let the clerk to proceed with the payment, or they use this interface directly in the online banking. And after we click submit payment, here payment submitted for processing. Okay, so we click OK. And on the right hand side, you can see this is a bank clerk interface. So basically, this is a simplified stage where the bank clerk receive the payment and ask large language model to screen this payment and to decide if we approve or reject this payment. Okay, as you can see here, we can choose this use large language model for screening. If we choose that, which means that this payment will get the feedback from large language model to tell you if you should approve it or reject it. And because we already have some preset information like the prompt template to ask a large language model to simulate the anti-money laundering, counter-terrorist financing screening. So there is a logic behind it. It will work like a compliance officer for us to refer to understand if this payment is okay or not. Okay, so now this payment is already here. We can see the last one. Okay, so we can do the action by click view, and we can see here there is already a screening results, which means that the large language model is giving us feedback like allowed tag is false, which means it should not be allowed. Risk level is high. The reason this payment is made to multiple recipients, which raises suspicious money laundering or other financial crimes. The large amount may also be suspicious in the context of a typical consulting service. Okay, so basically, as you can see, we already see John Smith made several payments before. So this argument of saying that the payment is made to multiple recipients makes sense. And also, you can see this is a large amount. Payment may be suspicious for consulting fee is also reasonable. But remember, this is a simplified simulation, which means that the purpose of it is to demonstrate you how the cursor powered by large language model and also the screening process powered by large language model could help you quickly simulate a workflow. Okay, so then here we can decide to approve or reject. Okay, if we click approve, we are going to see this record updated as approved. And of course, if we think we should reject, and it will be rejected. After you close this program and you enter into the program again, this record will not be able to be modified and you can start a new payment and try again. So before we go to the code, let's try another one, like a normal business payment. Okay, with some, and we see here the last one. Okay, allowed false, sender and the receiver account information does not match non-corporate account, raising red flag for potential verification problem. Okay, so this simulation is simplified because when you actually do a payment in the bank, these information are not the only information you need to provide. You actually need to provide additional information. In that case, I'm going to simulate it in a future video to make you have a more detailed view of how the bank works with different information. Okay, so if it is not correct, we can go back and to revise the code, asking cursor, asking large language model, right? And of course, we can add more details and requirements. Like I said, on the one hand, we can change the input information to the payment workflow. We can change how the large language model respond to us. What are the key informations and the key work points it needs to do? And also we can make the workflow more agentic, like we can incorporate in a LAN chain or different agentic workflow inside to make sure that we can simulate the workflow in a more dynamic sense. Okay, but at this moment you can see we have this tool that we can send the payment information to the system, screen it with large language model, make a decision if we approve the payment or not. Okay, so let's go take a look at the code. So basically, the coding process actually went through, I think, 5 or 6 rounds of the prompt. Um, the first one is to ask the model to build the project from high level view. If we see some results, we are going to ask it to improve the user interface, ask it to put more information inside. It's very intuitive, okay, but you need to have an idea of what the final version looks like. So, like in my case, I know the key simulation is the information passing through each step, and I should have some templates. I should have the large language model simulating the compliance function. I also need to see the approve and reject function button, and so on. And like the choice of the different package and so on are all done by the large language model, so I do not need to intervene. For example, if when you test it, you see it's not 100% matching your request, you can ask it to try a different user interface design, try a different package, and so on. So basically, the large language model created these 3 files. The first one is the payment file, which actually process these information of payment and also creates this user interface. And you can see, okay, this component, this class is defining different components inside. And also we can see there is a approve a payment function, okay, and so on. So basically, what you see in the previous user interface are all set up here in each individual module. And if you see this large language model screening file, actually you can see it is interacting with the local Olama. I choose a Llama 3.21b model because in my local machine it runs without much latency, so I can try as many times as I want. Okay, and you can see this workflow is clearly structured and create a screening prompt. I think this is the most important part. If you just want to interact with large language model, like in this way, you just focus on the prompt and get a response. So you need to put all this information here, and especially you need to ask it to analyze the money laundering risk, unusual pattern, and so on. So it will give you the response. One thing I want you to notice is that because the model is small, is not very capable, so the response may not be 100% stable. But as you already saw before, I think for this structured response, like allowed or not, risk level, and the reason, is good enough for us to do some tests. But that being said, if you really want to see, for example, you want to simulate the real world case with a very robust structure and so on, you need to think more, okay? Just build based on the initial project and you are going to get better results. And then let's take a look at the database file. This file actually puts information to a database and to allow you to see it each time when you open the program. This could also be a starting point because managing database in our case can be simplified, but in a real case you need to engage into the SQL, a very huge database, you have different queries and so on. It's a complicated system. Okay. That being said, if you increase the system complexity, maybe you need more tools to realize it. But here I can just use Python to simulate a very simplified database to allow me that every time when I open the user interface, I can just see the results. Yeah, that's about it. I'm going to share the project in my GitHub, and so you can give it a try. But remember, whenever you see something that's not accurate, just go inside and change the component. If the screening results does not make any sense, you can improve the prompt. You can check if there's something missing here, or if our template is not very good for simulation. Okay, just give it a try. To summarize, using large language model powered coding tool like Cursor and using local large language model or some free API, you can build up your own workflow to simulate it. Especially, I think this is very meaningful for educational purpose because when you want to show somebody something in your mind, using code is very direct. If you just see a PowerPoint, is very static. If you are going to take a demo system, for example, if you working in a bank or other company, your IT team will give you a test environment. But there is a limit because test environment sometimes is also closed inside of the corporate. So whenever you want to demonstrate it, you need to access to the test environment and so on. And it could also be very complicated because it is like a copy from the production system. Whenever you want to try something, to test a new function and so on, yeah, there is a standard workflow. But if you want to demonstrate something, sometimes you need to do additional configuration. It's not very friendly for you to quickly showcase something. So I think either you are a student, you are employee in a corporate, in any case, you want to demonstrate a workflow, just try to code with large language model. It will make your presentation very engaging. So I wish this is a good start point so we can explore further. And if you have any question, feel free to leave a comment here. And if you like my video, give it a like. Please subscribe to my channel. You can support my works through different links in my link tree page. And see you next time. Bye bye.